Have you ever noticed that when you're excited about getting something, part of the fun is the research? Maybe there's a new sweater that you've had your eye on. You start researching, you look and see how much it costs at different stores. You run through Rakuten and all those coupons to see if you can save on it. You question yourself, could I find something similar to this at the thrift store? Is it worth the investment? And down the rabbit hole you fall, researching for hours and hours about an item that may not be worth so much of your time. I am not judging you. This is something I have fallen victim to over and over. I've been wanting to do some real talks with you about some of my habits that have gotten me to where I am. I am definitely an overconsumer. I am somebody who probably got into thrifting as a profession because I love the hunt so much. I think that now that I'm in my 50s, I'm just starting to peel back the layers a little bit and see what makes me tick, what motivates me, maybe just some self-reflection. We're not getting too deep today, but I did want to talk a little bit about my experience in finding that the hunt is more exciting than the purchase. Let's jump in. I've been having a lot of thoughts lately about the direction of my channel. And I know I've been very open and transparent about how I'm not into doing huge thrift hauls anymore. I'm not like really doing reseller specific stuff, but reselling is always going to be there. I have a big inventory and I still enjoy the thrill of the hunt and all that stuff. So that's not going anywhere. But I also do declutter videos. And then I do like videos about quints and finding the perfect jean and winter favorites on Amazon. I'm kind of all over the map lately. But one of the things that I feel like I'm consistently striving for is value. I'm consistently struggling with the fact that I'm very much a stuff person and trying desperately to be less of a stuff person. I've learned so much over the past few years through decluttering my house and now with the renovation and then moving to a small place in Boston part-time and the value in just having less stuff around me. But then in the meantime, I started a second channel about fountain pens and I have a huge fountain pen collection. And I would say that's kind of where my overconsumption has gone. Even there now, I'm feeling like I'm leveling out a little bit. I get a lot of pens sent to me from brands and I'm just pretty satiated there. And now I noticed I'm starting to look at watches and I'm like, hold the phone. I feel like I just want to talk more about how it's the hunt that seems to excite me more than anything. And I think I've noticed it recently because I'm not thrifting as much. My renovation is winding down, so I haven't been hunting for handles or cabinet color or trying to figure out tiles or appliances. Like sometimes I just like researching and making decisions on things that I have to get. For better or for worse, I default to that. When I worked at American Girl, I remember I would constantly be researching eBay for some discontinued items or archived items that were worth a lot. And then I would hunt for them and try to get them at a lower price and flip them or just add them to my collection. But I was always hunting. I am not proud to say that in my 20s as a young woman, I was a Beanie Baby person. And it was never really about the Beanie Babies. I was living in San Francisco at the time. I was married for about 3 years. It was right before I had Anthony. And I had a directory of stores that I would call and visit on a weekly basis, which is crazy to me now. It's embarrassing to say it out loud because I loved the hunt. So the fact that I ended up thrifting as my profession, it makes total sense. And the fact that my thrifting got out of control and my inventory was like 2,000 plus items and I was losing things and I couldn't keep up with it also makes sense. Now I feel like I'm on the other side of most of that behavior. However, I still have tendencies. And I think I struggle with this channel sometimes knowing what content to put out there because I have these two personalities where one side of me is constantly trying to declutter, live more simply, live a more like analog, slower life. And then there's this other side of me that is chasing trends or on the hunt for whatever it is that item is that I deem worthy of my attention. And brain rot ensues as I scroll through things, looking on websites, comparing prices for something that I don't even need. And I don't know if that behavior is going to change overnight, probably not, but it's just something that I've really noticed as a pattern. I think the watches is what did it for me. There's one store who I was an affiliate for who I would honestly have about $1,000 a month to spend in store credit. I had to sell over $100,000 for the company and reach $10,000 in in-store credit before I could go over to PayPal and actually have a payout. And I noticed when I crossed that line and I started getting the money through PayPal, everything changed for me. It was no longer fun for me to look on the website and see what new pen I didn't need, but I wanted because I was getting store credit. So like I had to pick something and then I could create content around that. Once it went into my bank account, I found I no longer wanted the pens because now I had to spend my money. And it was crazy to me how that shifted. Sorry if you hear little crinkling, Lumpy's down at my feet with his toy, and I hope it's not too distracting. It's distracting me. I would say about 6 months after I was getting money. It was real money. It was almost like doing a sponsored video on a monthly basis. It was great, and they were a very generous company. But about 6 months after I crossed that line from store credit to actual money in my bank, they discontinued the affiliate program. They may be starting it up at the end of this month, so I'm really curious what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as lucrative as the old program was, which is why I think they're revamping it. And then when I wasn't even getting any money at all, that's when I started looking at watches. And I haven't bought a watch, but I spend a lot of time watching videos about watches and thinking about a watch that I would like. If I hit this milestone, maybe I'll get that watch. And I pulled out an old watch, and I actually talked about watches in my video, like things that were worth the purchase. And I was actually excited that I had a watch that I bought like 10 or 12 years ago that still works and that I love. So that's something that I think the new me is better about doing, like dusting off something that's beautiful and functional that I love and wearing it again. And I've been really happy. It's right here. It's this little Michelle watch that I bought, like I said, probably 12 years ago, maybe even 15. It's been a very long time. And I stopped wearing it for a while because I was really into Apple Watches and stuff. Anyways, I'm just wondering if anybody can relate. Like, are you somebody who really does love stuff? Don't ever call me if you want to be talked out of something, because I can think of 10 reasons why you should get it. Like, and I'm always like, oh, do what makes you feel good. Retail therapy, like all that sort of stuff. And that, again, that's not going to change overnight. One thing I've recognized about myself is that I've been really trying to lean into products that really work for me. And one brand I was using before I ever worked with them, which is always kind of a really exciting thing when I already know and love something and then the company reaches out and wants to work with me, is City Beauty. I started using City Beauty's plumping lip gloss, and now I feel like I need no other lip product in my life, and I mean it. This has pretty much replaced everything with the occasional use of lipstick. I'm getting ready to dig into my 3rd bottle of night oil, and it's just not for nighttime. I use this before bed. I use it as like a primer in the morning. Sometimes when I put on my moisturizer, I just put this around my lip and beyond my lip because it's so nourishing. I had very full lips as a young woman and in my young teens. As I've aged and I've gotten those fine lines around my lips, it's something I've been a little bit more sensitive to. So when I discovered City Beauty and I started using their lip plumper, I was in love with it. It offers the color and the conditioning and the plumping and the nourishing hydration, and you get color as well. So at nighttime, after I wash my face and put moisturizer on, I will take my night oil and then go all along my lip line, over the lip line, on my lip. I can't get enough of my night oil. And I just noticed they have plumping oil, which I need to try that next. It comes in the same container like this. Because I work with City Beauty, I've been able to add a lot of the colors to my palette, and I'm just so in love with their product. I find that their plumping gloss is comfortable. It hydrates without feeling any like of that tingling harshness that you feel with some plumpers. City Lips uses a blend of natural skin-loving ingredients to hydrate and plump lips, including hyaluronic acid spheres for deep hydration. I hope I'm saying this right. Oligopeptides to support natural collagen, and moisturizing oils like jojoba oil and ylang ylang flower oil. That was a mouthful. It's formulated without harsh irritants, which is why I can't get enough of it. It's designed for immediate and long-term plumping without the stinging sensation that you get found in other plumpers. It really does feel like that whole idea of beauty at any age, just supporting what you have and feeling good in it. If you want to try City Beauty for yourself, use my code LORITATA at checkout to save 20% off your purchase. I'll link everything below. And thanks again to City Beauty for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the video. I find that I struggle sometimes with my messaging because on the one hand, I'm really trying to downsize, and I have successfully done it, and I know how good that feels. And then on this other side, I have this like emptiness, I guess. It's the wrong thing. It's like this boredom where I used to fill it with hunting for something, scrolling online, making a list of what I want, creating a wish list, buying something, maybe returning it because I didn't like it, liking it so much that I wanted another one in another color, and it just kind of builds on itself and it snowballs. And where I'm trying to quiet that voice, it leaves this space. I want to fill that space with more creative projects like doing watercolors or more journaling or more walks outside, reading more books, like all that stuff. Those are things that I want to do more, but my natural tendency is to do the scrolling and stuff like that. So it's just a discussion. I'm not solving anything today. What I've learned about myself is that the hunt is way more exciting than actually getting something. And it's proven. There are studies that show that people actually enjoy planning a vacation more than they report enjoying the vacation itself. It's the anticipation of it. I try to describe to my kids how exciting it was to watch Friends in the 90s with the Ross and Rachel tension, because you had to wait every week to see what was going to happen. Like when Stranger Things drops and they can see everything in a weekend, I just don't think they can appreciate what it was like to wait for that. Or just ordering something in the mail, filling out a form or calling someone to order something and waiting for it to come in. We're so conditioned now for immediate responses. Even right now I'm dealing with it because I need new blinds. And I'm like, do I go the quality route and have somebody come out and measure the blinds? I've come this far with the renovation. Or can I go on Amazon tonight and order them and they'll be in 2 days and they'll be good enough and I'll install them myself? I struggle with stuff like that all the time. Do I try to thrift this and take the time it's going to take to find a quality insert, whatever it is, or do I just buy it online and it will be here by Friday? I tend to be a very impulsive person, so practicing patience and waiting for things is not what I am used to. I've gotten better with age. But then I also have tunnel vision sometimes if it's something that I'm excited about. I also think that's a little bit of ADHD in women too, or ADD in my case. It's very easy to get tunnel vision and hyperfixate on something that I'm interested in, which I am notorious for. It's also a lot of fun. Like I think sometimes, like when I was researching for the Louise Carmen trifold leather notebook, I had so much fun researching for that notebook. We actually planned a trip to Paris around our anniversary because Jay had to be in Amsterdam, and I'm like, well, what if we took a train to Paris and I got to go to Louise Carmen in person? And I did that, and it was such a great experience, and I filmed it and I created some really interesting fun content around it. So it's not always negative. I have a really positive association with the purchase of that notebook, and I use it every day. What's happened since then is I've purchased about 4 other notebooks. That one is probably still my favorite, but because I'm a content creator and I talk about journaling and notebooks and fountain pens, I have purchased more and then used my purchases to talk about comparison and which I like better and which function for which occasion when. Is it worth it to spend the money? All these comparison videos, and I really, really do enjoy that. It's a valuable thing that I can add to my channel. So I've kind of figured out a way to have these not so healthy habits of shopping, but incorporate it into my job, which is great, right? I really do have fun with it. But then at the end of the day, I'm stuck with a lot of product. When I was looking for watercolors, this is another example. I have so many watercolors that I bought. I did so much research. I got all these beautiful, beautiful watercolors. I can count on 2 hands how many times I have used them. And I think to myself all the time, I probably should have watched no videos on watercolors, and I could have bought the most basic watercolor set on Amazon and actually just sat down, and with all the time I took to research watercolor brands and what was the best and what had the most pigment color and like stuff that doesn't even matter. I mean, it matters if you're really into it or if you're an artist or you're somebody who uses it every day. It didn't matter at the level I was at, which is novice. What would have meant a lot more is to just sit down and paint every day. If I took every minute that I spent researching what paints to buy and actually painted, I would have learned a lot more about watercolors than I could have learned in any of the videos that I watched. And I mean that wholeheartedly. So I'm not here to get down on myself at all. I just think it's a conversation worth having. Like, can these two things exist? And I think they can. Trying to declutter, simplify, not get sucked into the cycle of always wanting the next thing. Filling that time with something that feeds my soul rather than just rots my brain as I scroll through the internet looking for some arbitrary thing when I have so much of it at home. It's completely unnecessary, this hunt. But I do love the hunt. I continue to try to figure out ways to quiet that a little bit, or at least recognize when I'm going down that path and I could actually be doing something more productive that would make me feel better and think less about the stuff. Let me know if you think that these conversations are worthwhile, if you relate to them at all. I do worry sometimes when I come on here and I talk about this sort of stuff. I'm not trying to be negative at all. They're just more reflective because I've seen a lot of changes in myself over the past few years, and I want to continue to grow as a person. I don't ever want to be stagnant. I don't want to leave a house full of junk to my kids. I want to engage in more meaningful stuff. And I still like to shop. So we are walking a tightrope here. I appreciate those of you who listen to my talks. If you have struggled with overconsumption or recognize that you enjoy the hunt more than the purchase, that dopamine hit when you go to find something or you buy something and then like sometimes it arrives. I've noticed something that I've also noticed when I've been really excited about something, and then it arrives and I don't even open it right away because the fun part was over. I got it, like I ordered it. And by that time, sometimes I'm on to looking at something else. So just something that I am hyper aware of these days. And I just thought I would share it with you in another Real Talk. So thank you all so much for watching. You know I love my city beauty though. And if you are interested in giving this a try, click the link in my description and use code LORITATA at checkout to save. I will see you all very soon in another video. Thanks everybody. Bye.